The other computer does. Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. Welcome to our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 13. We'll do text 28. Thank you, Mother Kunti. I got some right here, actually. Verses 28 through 39, we're going to be focusing on text 35. And we'll begin with Jai Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunati Ravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunati Ravanachari Yamunati Ravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Prasajanaranjana. Yashodanandana Prasajanaranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Jaya Radha Kalashanji, Radha Kalashanji, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Shamasunda, Radha Shamasunda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The problem is that you see that cord that's kind of dangling? It needs to be touched, connected in to the, no, there's another one right there. Yes, that needs to be connected into the Roku. It plugs in the back of the Roku. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. No. In the Roku. It goes in the Roku. It goes into the Roku. The Roku right there. Yes, it's got to go in the back of that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We can overcome anything if we just work together. Oh my gosh. Teamwork makes the dream work. Of course. We'll sing the invocation verses together, both the Sanskrit and English, please. Narayanam namaskritya naram shaiva narottamam devyam sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayasha breshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendances in the classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome as the heart is almost completely destroyed in loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna. Go ahead and bring it here, and I'm sorry. Yes, of course. So you go right here into settings right here, this one, and then connect to wireless right here. And then it's going to come up right here, available devices, Roku, and then boom. Should come. There it goes. Ah, thank you. Krishna has just killed the Orgasura demon. Oh my gosh. Right? And the cowherd boys have gone back to eating lunch, right? If you remember in the beginning of the story of Agrisura, it's explaining that to make sure that the cowherd boys will have lunch, Krishna needs demons to come to break up their play, or they would just continue to play the whole entire time. So they have to have little disruptions. Oh yeah, it's time to eat, guys. You ever remember when you were a kid and you were so busy playing that food never even came to mind? When I was a kid, we played at the park, and my dad, we lived probably about half a mile away from my home, but my dad would sit on the back. We had a two-story house, and he'd sit on the back of the porch, and he would yell out, "Nathan, Matthew, dinner's ready." And this is like a half a mile, and like, houses and stuff like that. And also we're playing, all of a sudden, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Yeah, and so we'd run back, And so it was my dad's conch shell, I guess you could say. So when we're kids, we have a tendency to play and not think about anything else than play. All the bodily necessities go to nothing. But Krishna has a wonderful alarm clock, and that's the demons. Sometimes they come and break up his play, and so then they can remember to eat lunch. So they've killed Argosori, and now they're eating lunch, and the cows have wandered off, and Lord Brahma has stole the cows and the cowherd boys. Krishna expands himself, and now we're hearing about this coming to about what happened in Vrindavan when this happened, and it coming to light of Balaram. Okay, so we're on 28, please. There we go. Go ahead and read the translation, please, somebody. We'll go 28 to 38. To 39. 28 to 39.
5 or 6 nights before the completion of the year, Krishna, tending the calves, entered the forest along with Balaram.
Purport. Up to this time, even Balaram was captivated by the bewilderment of that covered Brahma. Even Balaram did not know that all the calves and cow boys were expansions of Krishna, or that he himself was also an expansion of Krishna. This was disclosed to Balaram just 5 or 6 days before the completion of the year. So, how many days was Balaram held back from the secret? 359? 360? 365 days in a year?
Right, so
360 days Balaram went.
That's it.
And how powerful is Krishna's Yoga Maya, right? That even Balaram for 365 days, he didn't even know.
Oh.
Text 29.
Thereafter, while pasturing atop Govardhan Hill, the cows looked down to find some green grass and saw their calves pasturing near Vrindavan, not very far away.
30. Translation.
When the cows saw their own calves from the top of Govardhan Hill, they forgot themselves and their caretakers because of increased affection. And although the path was very rough, they ran towards their calves with great anxiety, each running as if with one pair of legs. Their milk bags full and flowing with milk, their heads and tails raised, and their humps moving with their necks, they ran forcefully until they reached their calves to feed them.
Purport. Generally, the calves and cows are pastured separately. The elderly men take care of the cows, and the small children see to the calves. This time, however, the cows immediately forgot their position as soon as they saw the calves below Govardhan Hill, and they ran with great force, their tails erect and their front and hind legs joined, until they reached their calves. So I believe this is a gallop, right? So they're very fast gallop, right? Sprint. See horses when they... Okay, 31. Translation, please.
The cows had given birth to new calves, but while coming down from Govardhan Hill, the cows, because of increased affection for the older calves, allowed the older calves to drink milk from their milk bags and then began licking the calves' bodies in anxiety as if wanting to swallow them.
So in the previous verse, it was explaining that the cows and the calves are usually separated, right? And the men, the cowherd men, and the cowherd boys are separated with them. But they, during this time, they couldn't help but being close to each other. So they forget it. What can we do but be close to our boys and our calves? 32, please.
The cowherd men, having been unable to check the cows from going to their calves, felt simultaneously ashamed and angry. They crossed the rough road with great difficulty, but when they came down and saw their own sons, they were overwhelmed by great affection.
Purport. Everyone was increasing in affection for Krishna. When the cowherd men coming down from the hill saw their own sons, who were no one else than Krishna, their affection increased.
At that time, all the thoughts of the cowherd men merged in the mellow of paternal love, which was aroused by the sight of their sons. Experiencing a great attraction, their anger completely disappearing, they lifted their sons, embraced them in their arms, and enjoyed the highest pleasure by smelling their sons' heads.
Purport. After Brahma stole the original cowherd boys and calves, Krishna expanded himself to become the boys and calves again. Therefore, because the boys were actually Krishna's expansions, the cowherd men were especially attracted to them. At first, the cowherd men who were on top of the hill were angry, but because of Krishna, the boys were extremely attractive, and therefore the cowherd men immediately came down to the hill with special affection. This is Srila Prabhupada consistently speaks about how to give up lower things. And he says to give up something lower, we have to have something higher to grab to. So the cowherd men in the situation were angry and frustrated about what was going on. But we can see that this is a very practical example of letting go of anger or those things that aren't so conducive to our Krishna consciousness by focusing on things that are higher, right? So they're angry, they're mad, but oh my gosh, here's Krishna, you know? So we can take this as a lesson in our lives, that when we're angry or upset or, frustrated, that we can turn to Krishna and give up the lower modes of material nature. Except there's 2 times that anger is okay. What are those 2 times? Yeah, a devotee's being picked on. You don't pick on devotees, right? What else the other time that somebody can be angry? There'll be when somebody's blaspheming the Lord, right? Somebody's picking on Krishna. That's funny. Somebody's picking on Krishna, we can burn down a city. Hanuman, right? Yeah. Okay. So any other times, though? Sorry. Any other times, though, we just turn to Krishna and give up the lower thing and then take on to the higher thing. No, just kidding.
Thereafter, the elderly cowherd men, having obtained great feeling from embracing their sons, gradually, with great difficulty and reluctance, ceased embracing them and returned to the forest. But as the men remembered their sons, tears began to roll down from their eyes.
Purport. In the beginning, the cowherd men were angry that the cows were being attracted by the calves. But when the men came down the hill, they themselves were attracted by their sons, and therefore the men embraced them. To embrace one's son and smell his heads are symptoms of affection. This isn't something that I was so familiar with in the sense of a cultural thing of smelling heads of your children. But when I said something, my wife was like, no, I love smelling my baby's heads, And so we have different relationships with the Lord, and we can cultivate a relationship that the Lord is our child, right? Like Mother Yashoda has a relationship with Krishna, it's his child. And so then when we smell nice flowers, you think, I'm smelling the head of Krishna. Or we get these perfumes right over here, right? Every day. You put the perfume on, you take a big smell of it, like you're smelling Krishna's head. Wow. And it's true. If we get into that meditation, right? These perfumes are being put right onto Krishna and Radharani and Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra. So we get an opportunity to smell Krishna's head through the flowers that have been offered to him and through the incense that's been offered to him. 35. We'll just do the translation here because we'll come back and do this as the focus verse.
Because of an increase of affection, the cows had constant attachment even to those calves that were grown up and had stopped sucking milk from their mothers. When Baladev saw this attachment, he was unable to understand the reason for it, and thus he began to consider as follows.
36. Translation, please.
What is this wonderful phenomenon? The affection of all the inhabitants of Rija, including me, towards these boys and calves is increasing as never before. just like our affection for Lord Krishna, the super soul of all living entities.
Purport. This increase of affection was not Maya. Rather, because Krishna had expanded himself as everything, and because the whole life of everyone in Vrindavan was meant for Krishna, the cows, because of affection for Krishna, had more affection for the older calves than for the new calves, and the men increased their affections for their sons. Oh my gosh, what a sentence. Balaram was astonished to see all the residents of Vrindavan so affectionate towards their own children, exactly as they had been for Krishna. Similarly, the cows had grown affectionate towards their calves, as much as towards Krishna. Balaram was surprised in seeing the acts of Yoga Maya. Therefore, he inquired from Krishna, "What is happening? What is this mystery?" Balaram has become aware. He's saying, "What is this going on here?" Next translation, please.
Who is this mystic power, and where has she come from? Is she a demigod or a demoness? She must be the illusory energy of my master, Lord Krishna, for who else can bewilder me?
Purport. Balaram was surprised. This extraordinary show of affection he thought was something mystical, performed either by the demigods or some wonderful man. Otherwise, how could this wonderful change take place? This Maya might be some Rakshashi Maya, he thought, but how can Rakshashi Maya have an influence upon me? This is not possible. Therefore, it must be Maya of Krishna. He thus concluded that the mystical change must have been caused by Krishna, whom Balaram considered his worshipful personality of Godhead. He thought, it was arranged by Krishna, and even I could not check its mystic power. Thus Balaram understood that all these boys and calves were only expansions of Krishna. He's figured it out. 38. Translation.
Thinking in this way, Lord Balaram was able to see with the eye of transcendental knowledge that all these calves and Krishna's friends were expansions of the form of Sri Krishna.
Purport. Every individual is different. There are even differences between twin brothers. Yet when Krishna expanded himself as the boys and calves, each boy and each calf appeared in its own original feature, with the same individual way of acting, the same tendencies, the same color, the same dress, and so on. For Krishna manifested himself with all these differences. This was Krishna's opulence. This is really so nice because we see how Krishna knows us perfectly. He knows us perfectly, so much so that if he needed to step in and be us, he would do it perfectly. Not only he would do it perfectly, he would do it better than us because everybody around would start loving us a lot more. loving our the illusion of us. It's very interesting, right? So we can understand that every person has an individual, unique relationship with Krishna, and everybody has their own unique, individual relationship with Krishna in his special way towards us. You could even put it in one way that everybody has their own individual Krishna, in a sense of knowing what he likes most, what he loves most, how he smells, what he looks like, how he smiles. Each person is seeing it with their own uniqueness. It's quite bewildering to actually think, that each person sees Krishna in a completely special, perfect way that is for them. It's very sweet. Really touches on the personalism of our philosophy, that Krishna and us have a personal relationship. And we might argue that Krishna likes cheesecake the most, and somebody might argue that Krishna likes apple pie the most, and both can be true. 35, we'll go through this. This is the focus verse. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yeah, no problem. You'll just have to go back to 35. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for doing this, by the way. I know it can be a little bit bewildering, You're like, everybody's waiting on you in a sense, you know what I mean? So it could be a little bit of anxiety. So I appreciate you being willing to step in and learn for it. Thank you so much. Vrajasya Rama Prema Dear. Vrajasya Rama Prema Dear. Vikshayota Vikshayot Kantayam Anukshnam. Vikshoat Kanaktyam Anukshnam. Muktasnanesh Apateshvapi. Muktastanesh Apateshvapi. Ahetuvid Achintayat. Ahetuvid Achintavyat. Bolo. Vrajasya Rama Premadi. Vikshat Kantyam Anakshunam. Ehetu vid achintayat. Vrajasya Rama Premadi. Viksha Kantya Anukshanam. Muktastanesh Apate Shapi. Ahetu Vidachintayat. Vrajasya Rama Premadi. Viksha Antukantayam Anukshanam. Muktastanesh Apatyaspi. Anybody else? One more? No? Jasai Rama Premadi. Viksha Anokshanam. Tasha Apateshavapi. Until Vidachintaya. Word for word together, please. Vrajasya, of the herd of the cows, Ramaha Balaram, Pemaridi, because of an increase of affection, Vikshaya, after observing, Aut Kuntyayam, attachment, Anushanam, constantly, Muktastene Shu, who had grown up and were no longer drawing milk from their mothers. Even. A translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because of an increase of affection, the cows had constant attachment even to those calves that were grown up and had stopped sucking milk from their mothers. When Baladev saw this attachment, he was unable to understand the reason for it, and thus he began to consider as following. Purport. The cows had younger calves who had started sucking milk from their mothers, and some of the cows had newly given birth, but now, because of love, the cows enthusiastically showed their affection for their older calves, which had left off milking. These calves were grown up, but still the mothers wanted to feed them. Therefore, Balaram was a little surprised, and he wanted to inquire from Krishna about the reason for their behavior. The mothers were actually more anxious to feed their older calves, although the new calves were present, because of the older calves were expansions of Krishna. These surprising events were taking place by the manipulation of Yoga Maya. There are two Mayas working under the direction of Krishna. Mahamaya, the energy of the material world, and Yoga Maya, the energy of the spiritual world. These uncommon events were taking place because of the influence of Yogamaya. From the very day on which Balaram stole the calves and the boys, Yogamaya acted in such a way that the residents of Vrindavan, including even Lord Balaram, could not understand how Yogamaya was working and causing such uncommon things to happen. But as Yogamaya gradually acted, Balaram in particular was able to understand what was happening, and therefore he inquired from Krishna. Om Gantamarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Shakshuramritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but by the kindness of my spiritual life, my master, he opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatai Deshatarne Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasanubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we understand that everything's emanating from Krishna. Ham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Everything, spiritual, material worlds, everything is emanating from Krishna. And so emanating from Krishna is also two kinds of energies, Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Yogamaya is the internal potency of Krishna, and the external potency is Mahamaya. And these energies are so strong and so powerful, right? They're so powerful that even Lord Balaram, who is none other than Krishna himself, is also bewildered by Yogamaya. For 360 days we figured, right? 360 days Balaram is in the dark about this Yogamaya. Yes. Is that okay? Okay. So, how strong is Yogamaya? Is Krishna stronger than Yogamaya? No, right? Even Yogamaya is stronger than Krishna. Wow. Yes. He allows her. He gives us service. It said that the love of the devotee is so powerful that Krishna is controlled by the love of the devotee. Yogamaya, having no interest other than setting up Krishna's wonderful pastimes, she even becomes more powerful than Krishna. Yogamaya is none other than on our altar than as Lady Subhadra. Lady Subhadra is this Yogamaya and right on our altar. And so if we pray to her, then maybe by some great circumstance we become controlled by Yogamaya instead of Mahamaya. But what's the difference between Yogamaya and Mahamaya? Well, the main big difference is that Mahamaya is an illusion that something is separate from Krishna. And Yogamaya, meaning yoga, to connect, is a Maya that is connected to Krishna. So we get these wonderful pastimes about how Yogamaya is working that the residents of Vrindavan are so bewildered they don't even know of Krishna as God. Balaram becomes so bewildered that he doesn't even understand why the older cows are being given milk by the mothers instead of the younger cows. But something wonderful is happening here by Balaram. He's using his intelligence to figure out what is going on. He starts questioning, what is happening here? So he starts to think, what is this mystery going on? So he starts to uses intelligence and he finally figures out that, oh, this must be Krishna's Maya, Yoga Maya, because what else could overthrow me, the direct expansion of Krishna, his brother, but his own internal potency. So we can understand in our lives that ups and downs are going to happen, left and right. Pretty much that things are already moving. The sun comes up every day, it goes down, the moon comes up. Matter of fact, they're so consistent that for thousands of years we can decide when the moon comes up. So not only in this big cycle of life, but in our own small cycles, things are happening. They're moving. They're already in place. They're already a movement. So we can take these happenings in our life as separate from Krishna, or we can take them as connected with Krishna, right? And that's what makes us devotees, is that we see nothing separate from Krishna, no matter what it is, whether it's our children, whether it's our work, whether it's our sleeping, whether it's our eating, we see it non-separate from Krishna. And then, if we're lucky, then something magical happens, and Yoga Maya starts to act in our life, where she is putting us into wonderful illusions that we have no clue how Krishna's working in our life. In this pastime, the residents are increasing their love for their children because their children are Krishna. In our life, what's wonderful is the more we love Krishna, the more our love expands for every living entity, right? So we don't have to see our daily duties, our parenting, or this or that as separate from Krishna. We can see that if our love for these services aren't growing, then there's something's off. We're not seeing things properly. And so then we should start to try to understand about where we're off. Where aren't we seeing this connected with Krishna? And if we can connect it with Krishna, then we should be able to see that our relationships are growing and our work is growing, our abilities are growing. So this is something that I saw that was very important in this pastime that I wanted to share, in the sense of the fact that we all have things that are happening. We all have things that are going on. Life is moving. It is happening to us more than we are happening to it if we are unconscious. And so we shouldn't look at these things as separate from Krishna. We should understand that they are coming directly from Krishna, and that if we see it in that eye, then we have our illusion becomes one of a higher quality, right? We want our activities to become less of lower qualities and become more of a higher quality. And the first thing we do is we turn towards Krishna. When I was young, anyways, when I first joined Hare Krishna, I got to meet a nice devotee named Priya, Seva Priya. So she's from Portland. She's your god sister. Seva Priya. She's a disciple of Tamal Krishna Goswami. And she told me and my wife one time, she said, I heard this from my spiritual master, that there's really only two decisions we get in life. What's the first one? Anybody have any idea? First one is, are we turning towards Krishna? That's only the first one. What's the second decision? Are we turning away from Krishna? This is the only decision we really have in life so much. Is, am I facing Krishna or am I turning my back on Krishna? And so as mentioned, life is happening, things are happening. Do we choose to turn towards Krishna, or do we turn to put our back towards him? And if we turn towards Krishna, then we can be confident that the internal potency of Krishna, Yoga Maya, will start working in our life, start acting in our life. And if we decide to continue to turn our back towards Krishna, then this is Mahamaya. This is an illusion that sends us straight to hell. We want to go not to hell, but we want to go to Krishna's lotus feet. So it's 8:21. I'll open it to discussion. We talked about Lord Yoga Maya being so potent that even Lord Brahma, our Lord Balaram, is overcome by Yoga Maya. Even Krishna is overcome by Yoga Maya's service, that he becomes bewildered. The residents of Vrindavan are under this Yoga Maya because they're always turned towards Krishna, and therefore our love increases when we turn towards Krishna and come under his internal potency. Yes, Mother Kunti. I don't think it's on. Hare Krishna. Or maybe you can use this one for right now. We can just put new ones in it.
It's working now.
Might go
Thank
off.
you. Thank you, Lord. Okay, I was just bewildered hearing how even Lord Balaram for 360 days was amazed. What is going on here? And it's so nicely described in the Krishna book. And Krishna book, and Srila Prabhupada really, what a stroke of genius, absolute genius, beyond perception, beyond comprehension, that he translated the 10th canto in the form of Krishna book. Because in that book, Lord Balaram turns to Krishna and says, I'm seeing that these cows and cowherd boys are totally being loved more and more and more, more and more and more. This is you, Krishna. Not like that. I'm paraphrasing, but this is you. This is not. And then and it's just so nicely written in Krishna book like that. So my question is Balaram, I mean, he's the first expansion of Krishna, Sankarshan, right? And then Pradyumna, and then Aniruddha, right? And the Chaturvyuha, right? It goes like that. And then, so if he's bewildered, isn't he also covered by Yogamaya?
Yes, even Krishna is covered by Yogamaya.
Right.
I mean, that's like it really is. It's uncomprehendable. That's part of the
incomprehensible.
The thing,
right.
though, is like, okay, so Krishna is doing these wonderful things, and cowherd boys are like, Krishna, that's so amazing. How, when did Nanda Maharaj teach you that wonderful thing? Krishna's like, what do you? Nanda Maharaj taught me. Yeah, you must have, to do something so wonderful, you must have learned it from Nanda Maharaj or somebody. And so Krishna even starts to question himself as God. Like, wait a minute, am I God? And that's just like wow. It's to have a play, to know the script, and to be able to suspend for that time and moment the knowing of the past, present, and future is an amazing gift, because at that moment, then you can give yourself fully at that moment. So in a great actor, they're in that moment, they are giving 100 there. They're not thinking about the next act or the next actor of that and the next actor of that. That's the narrator's position. Who cares about that? That narrator can do that. I'm in the moment, acting 100% in the emotion, the scene, everything. And so Krishna, being so amazing, he even gives that service to one of his devotees to bewilder him so that he can't think of the past, present, or future, that he's literally so engrossed in that moment that he's simply there with his friends and giving everything at that moment. It is bewildering. It's an amazing arrangement that Krishna's made so that not only does he not have to think about the past, present, or future, he can be there at present the moment, but also that he doesn't have to think about the whole entire environment. Yogamaya is creating the scene. I remember in Varshana, the place where Krishna does the Dina, the pastime where he does the taxes. Dina Kali? Dina Kali? Huh? Where is it? Donna Kali. Donna Kali pastime? Yes. And you come to it and it's very narrow and it comes down like this and the rocks are like really hard to walk on and then there's a little space right there for Krishna to sit. And I remember looking at it and go, I've never seen any kind of formation like this anywhere in Vrindavan or around or anything. It's just so completely unique to the situation. And then you laugh and go, okay, this is Yogamaya. She goes, okay, I want this pastime needs to be done, so I'm going to make the perfect environment. So she put, here's a spot where Krishna will see the cowherd girls will go through here, and then he can stop them with his stick, and he can tax them and stuff like that.
And he was even disguised.
Yeah.
He dressed up like the king and that magistrate. And he was I am the official from King Nanda. And you girls have been selling on the black market. You owe us tax. And they began shoving and pushing. No, we don't. Yes, you do. No, and then Shrimati Radharani's veil fell. And the imprint of that veil is still there. I mean, who can imagine?
So you can see that, like, if you're to argue these things through logic, you can't explain these things to a non-devotee. It makes no sense. I remember hearing recently in a debate, somebody was like, well, can God create a rock that he can't lift? And they were arguing back and forth. And I thought, how funny. Srila Prabhupada answered this so simply. He said, yeah, he can create a rock that he can't lift, and then he'll lift it. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people are philosophical, they're big people nowadays, they're not small people. This was a big debate, you know what I mean? And they're just totally consumed by this logic of the material world and how things work and how relations work. But as devotees, we start to hear about Yogamaya and Mahamaya, and we start to see, oh, wait a minute, God can be subservient to his devotee? Wait a minute, he's God. Logically, that doesn't make sense. But when we start to add the layers that Srila Prabhupada has given us, we're like, oh, I can see how love really does allow you to become a subservient of somebody who might not be strong as you, might not be as famous as you, might not have the opulences that you have. But because of love, you act in this way. It says that it's, go ahead. It's uncomprehendable, but through the devotee, we can actually start to comprehend to some degree the uncomprehendable. It's amazing.
I was thinking there is just one explanation. The will of the Supreme Lord, right? Because the other day I was discussing about this. So amazing. Our Brahma's 12 hours is our 4.32 million years. So as we all know, in Brahma's one day, within 12 hours, Krishna appears once. And all other incarnations, they appear within 12 hours. So if you step into Lord Brahma's shoes, every day these pastimes are happening. Every day he gets bewildered. Every day Balram gets bewildered. Every day Not just one Brahma, there are unlimited universe, unlimited Brahmas. Every second these pastimes are happening. So it is not that because somebody is powerful, Yogamaya is predominating over Krishna. It is the supreme will of the Supreme Lord. And there is a purpose behind his pastimes, which is to attract or reclaim the conditioned souls. So these pastimes are happening every day. Can you imagine? Every day. If something is happening in my life every day, how can I get bewildered to see that? So that means there is a purpose.
Wonderful point. There's a purpose behind everything.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much for enlightening us today with such a wonderful pastime. I was just remembering what you were telling before Prabhuji spoke, so I remembered one example. You said how Prabhupada easily explained this point that Krishna can make such a mountain which he cannot lift, and then he can easily lift. And then it makes it so easy for us to understand. So related to this, Prabhupada gave an example like a CEO of a company or a judge or a big person. He is very respectable in the office, but at home he's becoming like a
horse.
horse or something, and the grandchildren are on his back. So in one way, who is elder or who is senior or who is respectable? Of course, the head of the family, but he plays with his grandchildren like that, and that makes it easy for us to understand things, how it works, So that's what I remember. So this, as he also mentioned, this bewildering thing is, of course, the pastimes of the Lord, So thank you.
I was talking to a Christian once, and they were throwing Bible verses at me, and I was explaining their side. And he said, well, that would make God a liar. And he's like, are you telling me God can be a liar? And I said, yes. No way, he cannot be a liar. If he was a liar, then he would be sinful. And God cannot be sinful. I said, you don't understand sin. You don't understand what sin means. And so so I was trying to explain sin to him, that sin is actually just the enjoyment separate from God. And that is in one way or degree or more a sin. It can be small in a sense where there's not so much karma to it, but then it can be a big sin. And he just could not understand it. It was just completely bewildering to him that God could lie. That if you lied, it was a sin. But God couldn't sin. So, but to devotees, we just kind of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like we put it together so quickly because of Srila Prabhupada's teachings that we can be just like, yeah, I can see where, we see Krishna lie all the time. Mom, Mother Shoda, why are you eating dirt? I didn't eat dirt, Mama. That's right. He's a sinner. No, you don't understand what sin is. So it was completely bewildering.
I heard from Radhanath, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, in a class, I need to search to be sure, but sin is simply forgetfulness of God.
Yeah.
He just simplified it.
It's being in Mahamaya, in the illusion that something is separate than Krishna. Right. It is it's a pretty, I'm using a very dramatic, I guess you could say in a way, definition of sin, because we can understand that there's karma kanda, good karma, bad karma, and stuff like that, which is karma separated from Krishna and stuff like that. But anyway, either way, it's offensive to Krishna to even do good karma in the sense of separate from him. So I mean, basically, we can just wrap it up into, doing something that's being separate from Krishna.
That's what Prabhupada said. He said in a lecture recently, I heard, good karma, bad karma, it's all bad.
Yeah.
It's all bad. Because it perpetuates the cycle of birth and death, and the ability to perceive the evil of birth and death.
And we perpetuate.
It's critical.
And we perpetuate to others.
Exactly.
If we decide to stay in the cycle of birth, death, those who surround us and associate with us also take on that quality. And that's even greater sin than us doing it. It's keeping other people in the cycle.
The difference is Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Pune district when people walk in, you immediately hear the Maha Mantra. You see Srila Prabhupada, a gorgeous picture of Srila Prabhupada, very stately, with fresh flowers and people greeting you, and it's totally different. It's like the spiritual world, and that's that kind of charity. That's dovetailing in Krishna service, and obviously conscious meals here in Dallas, dovetailing, going to all the homeless shelters and the battered women's shelters and all of that. This is very, this is all in Krishna service, but without Krishna, right? That's it.
So, one practical thing. Does any other questions, comments, thoughts for you? Okay. In this story, Balaram gives us a very great lesson. At one moment, he thinks, who put this spell on me? It must be some Rakshashi. It must be some demigod. It must be some demon. This is amazing. The lesson that Lord Balaram is teaching us. Because when things happen in our life, what do we like to do? We like to blame others. It must be this person. It must be this fault. But then Lord Balaram, being so kind to teach us this lesson, he does one thing very quickly. He goes, wait a minute. I know everything comes from Krishna. I know that not a blade of grass moves without Krishna. So I know this is coming from Krishna. And he gets reorientated very quickly. So this is a great lesson for us, that when we start to see things in a way that are separate from Krishna, that it's this person's, that person's fault, or this, and this, we first reorient ourselves that Krishna is behind everything, not a bladed grass. And then, with the right perspective, right orientation, the right attitude, then we can start maybe discerning what's going on about the behaviors of others. Who knows what that will look like? There's infinite ways that looks like. But the most important thing before we can use any intelligence is to reorientate that Krishna is behind everything and then move forward. And you can see in this example that Lord Balaram gives him, he reorientates himself. He remembers that Krishna is the source of everything. And then very quickly he realizes what? Oh, wait a minute. These cowherd boys and cows are Krishna. He figures it out, very quickly. 360 days, and then a couple minutes he figures out by connecting it to Krishna. Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, right? One who's connected with me has spiritual intelligence, right? Can understand things properly. So, please make sure when you go through the day and you're bewildered, you're thinking of this must be an arrangement of some other person or some demigod or some temple authority or some governmental authority or this or that. No, Krishna's behind it. And then you'll be orientated right. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchika paturibhyascha. Kripa sindhu bhyevacha. Patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Antikoti vaishnava vrindi ki jai. Jai.
Chittaiva triptim bhajato sadani